Hi everyone. So today I'll be talking about this book called Your Survival Instinct is Killing You. So this book is written by Dr. Mark Shaw. Let's start asking ourselves a few questions. So for example, have you ever felt because of some small and significant event and you feel so angry or frustrated out of sudden? So it can be example, let's say you're lining up to buy a drink. Let's say you're in Starbucks and then you're lining up, you want to buy your favorite drink. And then suddenly someone just cut queue right in front of you. So what would you feel at that instant? So you probably feel angry, you want to scold the person, or you might really go and scold the person actually. So these are some sudden anger that happen out of nowhere. And then let's say you're stuck in a traffic jam and your car is not moving. You get irritated, you feel like you want to start to horn all the cars in front of you. So this kind of like anger or frustrateness that appears suddenly. And other than that, you can also happen like, let's say you're on a diet and you're not supposed to eat, let's say after 9 p.m. But then suddenly you feel hungry, you feel craving, you want to eat ice cream, you want to go downstairs, open your fridge and start eating the ice cream inside. But then you keep on telling yourself you can't, you're on a diet, and then you feel frustrated that you can't, and then you can't control yourself, and then you just go down and have the ice cream. So what's the reason that's making us feeling frustrated, angry, anxiety, can't control ourselves? So the reason is in this book called Your Survival Instinct is Killing You. So survival instinct has actually been part of us. It's actually been programmed within us to keep us for survival and to protect us from danger. So this survival instinct is actually useful when we are still living in the jungle those days. So in those days, let's say if a tiger come and attack us out of nowhere, so what is your first response? It's to run away, right? So when you run away and seek for safety, that is actually your survival instinct kicking in to protect you. But in this 21st century right now, right, you don't face situation where tiger appear out of nowhere and come and attack us. We're actually in a quite safe environment. We don't really need to actually rely on our survival instinct to protect us. But then this survival instinct is 24/7 turned on, and it actually mislabeled the danger that is things that are not danger, but we label it as danger. So for example, let's say just now the example, you're lining up to purchase a drink at Starbucks, and then the person cut queue right in front of you. It's actually not danger, but our survival instinct label this as danger, and then we start to get angry and then we start to scold the person. So this is our instinct response from your survival instinct. So to understand this thing deeper, you have to understand where is this survival instinct lies in your brain. So I'll just explain two main parts of our brain. So we have the limbic system. So limbic system is called the older part of the brain, and this part is where your survival instincts lies. So the limbic system is used for fight or flight response, and it's like for, let's say, for gut response, your fear, your anger, your hunger all lies within this brain. And then surrounding this limbic system is called the cerebral cortex. So cerebral cortex is actually used for logical thinking, critical thinking, and decision making. So it will think logically what is the right thing to do, and also for problem solving. So these two brain, right, is actually always constantly in disagreement. They always like things differently. So a good example can be like, say you're on a diet and it's 10 p.m. and you feel like eating ice cream. So what these two brain will do is limbic system will tell you, yes, you should have some ice cream. It's been a stressful day for you. You should enjoy yourself. Life is short. Go and enjoy the ice cream. But then the cerebral cortex will come also and tells you, no, you've been working very hard on this diet. You already lose 2 kg, and then you want to spoil your diet with this ice cream. So these two will keep on constantly fight with each other. And then usually the case is limbic system wins, which is always why we always regret our actions after that. So that's the two parts of the brain. So if you look around you right now, right, in this society, you notice like your friends, your family members, or maybe your colleagues, you notice that people are more stressed out, they're more woke up, they get triggered easily. So why are we getting more triggered easily even though we are living in this comfortable world compared to the jungle, right? So one of the reasons is because of technological advancement. So technological advancement has actually made our life more comfortable. And when we get more comfortable with our life, we're actually less tolerant to discomfort. And when we are less tolerant to discomfort, your survival instinct will think that you are actually in harm. And you start to awaken and try to control your body. And when your survival instinct misbehave and try to take control of your body, you notice symptoms that will happen like depression, like anxiety attack, insomnia, migraine. All these problems will start to surface. Discomfort is not something that happens out of nowhere. It's something that it's actually quietly building within you. It's something that's boiling inside of you. So we call this the agitants. So think of agitants like body temperature. So normal body temperature is, let's say, 36.5 degrees Celsius to, let's say, 37.5 degrees Celsius. And then fever level is anything that's above 37.5 to 38.3. So as we start to get more revved up, you get stressed or triggered, then these agitants, right, is actually slowly building inside of you. And it's actually slowly, your body temperature is actually slowly rising towards the fever mark. And then even if before it crosses the fever, right, you'll start to notice your body feel uneasiness, you feel edginess. And then once this body temperature crosses this fever mark, what happens is actually you have fever, right? And when this crosses your fever mark, it means that your discomfort has emerged. And when your discomfort has emerged, it actually awakens or triggers your survival instinct. And then you start notice symptoms like you easily get short-tempered, irritated easily, you get anxiety attack, panic attack, depression. All these problems will start to surface. There are a few ways to see whether you have agitance level that is slowly building within you. So for example, let's say there's no message coming in, but then you like to constantly check on your phone to see if you miss out any messages even though there's no notification. Or it can also happen at work. You know there's no email coming in, but every, like, let's say 5 to 10 minutes you'll check your mailbox to see if like clients send you any email or you might miss out any mail. And it also can happen, like say you're driving to work and you're not in a hurry, but you're driving very fast, afraid you might be late for work or be late for appointment. And then even though, let's say other example can be, I'm not hungry but I just feel uncomfortable, but I feel like to find food and eat to make me feel comfortable. So all these are like signs of agitance that is quietly building within us that we don't notice it as a problem. So these are things that we can start noticing. Another thing not to confuse is that agitance and stress are actually two different things. So stress is actually pinpoint to a particular event and it's very focused one. So for example, let's say this stress is actually related to this project that I'm handling right now. So this project has very short deadline and there's a lot of deliverables during this project. But once this project ends, right, I will actually stop to feeling so stressed already. This stress feeling will gradually decline and then slowly diminish. But then for agitance is different. Agitance is not just triggered by just one event. It's actually a build up and accumulative of imbalances by different events. And there's also a relationship though. So if my agitance level is very poorly managed, I am actually very vulnerable and very easily triggered and affected by all these different stresses that you face in your daily life. So other factors that can actually affect this agitance, one of it is our constant need for sensory stimulation. So for example, let's say how this sensory stimulation work is like, I'm having lunch, and then while I'm having lunch, I will actually take out my smartphone and will start to scroll social media, Facebook and Instagram. So I become addicted to all this stimulation. Even though, like, let's say taking public transport, you notice that people likes to scroll their phone or Facebook during on the public transport, and if they don't use their phone, they'll have this uneasiness. This is one of the reasons, is because we are addicted to this stimulation, and this addiction is actually related to this chemical called the dopamine. So dopamine is actually released by the limbic brain. So this limbic brain, which is also the survival instinct brain, actually release this chemical, this dopamine chemical, and this dopamine chemical actually makes us feel good. And the more dopamine level, so the higher the dopamine chemical rises, the better you feel much more happy. So think of, let's say, I'm craving for chocolate. So just thinking about me eating the chocolate or having the chocolate, right, actually helps my dopamine level to rise. It's actually already rising right now when I'm thinking about eating the chocolate later. But then once I start to eat the chocolate, right, so while I'm having the chocolate, this dopamine level will then gradually drop. And then when this dopamine level gradually drop, I will actually want more of it, because when I want more of this is because I will feel good if my dopamine level rises. And then the cycle will tend to repeat itself again, and every time you will then need more stimulation to actually trigger this dopamine. I will actually need more things to actually trigger this dopamine. Instead of just having one bar of chocolate, probably I will need more. So this is the constant need of stimulation that actually relates with this dopamine chemical. Another thing that actually triggers these agitants is also this factor called instant need for gratification. So how this instant need for gratification works is, let's say if you are curious about something, you want to know about a particular thing, where do you go, right? Usually I will go to Google and then I will start searching about it. So because I want to have my answer immediately, this is the sign of instant need of gratification. And then other example can also be like, let's say example of the Grab food. I'm hungry, then I will just go grab food and order my food immediately, because the food will get delivered to me. So these are the different signs of factors of agitants that actually affect our discomfort level, and then it will actually the more badly is actually managed, is actually more easily to set us off. So now that you know about these agitants and also this survival instinct, how agitants can actually awaken this survival instinct, so the good news is that you can actually retrain and work on this. So in the book, Mark actually shared 15 simple strategy that you can use to control your comfort zone and control your survival instinct. But I just highlight a few, yeah. So one of it is to, let's say, take some technology time up. So try to take, like, let's say 2-3 hours, stay away from your smartphone, your laptop, or your electronic gadgets, and try to relax. So another one can be, let's say, try to learn how to value and tolerate imperfection. So for example, let's say at work, you might be working on a presentation slide, and then you keep on trying to improve it, and you feel so frustrated that you still think that it's not the best. Then you just try to go with the flow. There will be some imperfection, so you don't have to chase for the perfection all the time. And then the third one is to limit your sensory inputs. So let's say if you are driving, then try to focus on driving. Don't try to answer phone and talk on the phone and then try to drive at the same time. So too much sensory input actually creates more anxiety level. And then another one is try to stop trying to get everything all done. So when you have too many things that you want to get it done in a single day, and it's not realistic, you actually feel very frustrated, because you want to have all these items being complete, but it's not possible. So then you start to feel very stressed and woke up. And then another thing is you should also learn how to expand your comfort zone. So how this can do is, let's say try to take up new challenges, try to pick up a new hobby, maybe do something that you never tried before, or maybe when you're driving to work, try to use a different road to work as well. So try to expand your comfort zone. And next one is very useful as well, is to delay your need for gratification. So you don't have, like, for example, you don't need to have your answer immediately. Let's say if you want to know about something, you don't have to Google it immediately. Why don't you try to think about it? Then maybe you can happen to have your answer. Or let's say if you're hungry, you don't have to order Grab food immediately. And a lot of people also like to do this mistake, is like, let's say they think about something and then they want to have it then they start to search Lazada and then they will want to purchase it immediately. So instead of purchasing the item immediately from Lazada, how about you try to delay it for 1 week? So maybe 1 week later you realize that you don't need that item anymore. So all these are ways that actually trying to train your limbic brain and cerebral brain to actually respond to discomfort. Alright, what we want to do is actually not try to numb this limbic brain, but actually allows this limbic brain and the cerebral brain to participate equally. We don't want one brain to dominate another brain, but to let them work together. So this concept is called duality. So duality means like allowing discomfort to happen, but so that you can have comfort to come in as well. So example of this can be, let's say instead of feeling discomfort for a presentation, what my goal is to actually to also feel this sense of safety and peace within me. So by having this sense of safety and peace within me, I'm actually letting this discomfort feeling to have a smaller space inside of me, while I reserve a bigger space for the feeling of safety, feeling of peace, and feeling control. So this is called duality. It's like having comfort and discomfort at the same time. So a good metaphor for this is, let's say, for the ocean. So the surface of the ocean is actually not very peaceful. It's very choppy. The waves are always moving. There's rip types. But if you look under the ocean, beneath the ocean, it's actually very calm and very still. The fish are actually swimming peacefully. So how this can represent in our daily life is like, let's say in our daily life, right, I have a lot of demands at work. So there's a lot of personal issue, or maybe there's some family issue. So there's a lot of problems or demands happening. But at the same time, within you, you should actually remain calm and still. So this Mark call this the inner state of core balance, something like that. Yeah, inner core state of balance. Another important concept in this book is the importance of gratitude. So why this concept is important? Let's go back to the concept of our limbic brain. So if you remember, right, the limbic brain is actually responsible for the fight and flight response, the feeling of fear, anger, and hunger. But guess what? Your gratitude feeling also actually comes from your limbic brain. So what we can do is we can draw the effects of this gratitude and to combine with this discomfort feeling to retrain your limbic system. So if you notice, right, every time when you feel grateful for something, right, you actually feel good, right? So this actually gratitude feeling actually help to push up the dopamine level. It helps to increase your dopamine surge. So what you want to do is try to feel grateful for even small things in your life. So let's say if you are feeling very frustrated today, try to take a piece of paper and try to write 5 things that you are very grateful for. So after that, when you write 5 things that you are very grateful for, you might actually feel very happy, very calm. So your dopamine level will start to increase. So this is another way you can use to retrain your survival instinct. So I think this book is actually suitable for everyone. Anyone can use this book in this 21st century, and it's important to be aware of all these effects. Okay, thank you and bye bye.